Hello, my
All
name's
right.
My name's Chris. I'm here with my friend Hunter, and we were just chatting over text earlier, and he was telling me he's no longer believing in demons, and I was like texting back and forth like, what are you talking about? Like, what does you mean by that? And so I just wanted to have him discuss in live like what do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, that's a really good topic. And yeah, so thanks, Chris. And I would say that to start off on this subject matter, I would say that it's my saying that I don't believe in demons. What I really mean is that the perspective of demonology, I've kind of been coming to a point where I'm starting to correlate demonology and what we perceive demons and what they are and how they interact with us to actually states of mind.
So you're
I
because we're both
I
students of
believe,
the law of one, and we're really pretty both syncretist
yeah,
in our
yeah,
beliefs and stuff. But like, so where's
yeah.
this coming from? Like, connect some dots for me.
We've been there, we've done that, we've done all that stuff. Um, I've really, we've been doing this stuff a long time, man. I think we've been doing this stuff almost 20 years.
Longer, yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, more recently, my studies in ontology and consciousness and more specifically the mind and the capacity of the mind and what it actually is, the substance of the mind. And the substance, when I say ontology, the study of consciousness, but when I say ontology, I guess what I mean is like, when I say ontology, I mean like the study of mind. Like, what is mind? Like, what is this thing? What is this thing that protrudes, amazes? It's everything. It's everything. It's not just suffering. It's amazing. It's everything. It's what drives our lives. You know what I'm saying? It's consciousness. Well, it's not consciousness, but it's something. It's something.
Yeah, it seems to be
It
a
drives
blend of
consciousness.
things. It seems to be a blend of
It's a blend.
things.
Yeah, it's a blend of
And
things.
some things are ineffable, and you can't even. There's no words to describe, or at least no English words that we have in our vocabulary to describe some of this phenomenon, for sure. But I was specifically asking about like the
Well,
concept
no,
of
no, no.
demons. Like,
There's a
how do you
lot of
see? Go
vocabulary,
ahead.
and There's a lot of vocabulary, and there's a lot of vocabulary that people use that is utter nonsense. A lot of people use vocabulary. A lot of people use vocabulary to try to describe ontology and consciousness, and they go into these loops of nonsense. They go into these trends of nonsense, and they go into these trends of psychedelics and what you can call uh, hallucinations of reality and things like that. And I've been there and done that, and I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I've done it all.
Yeah,
We've done it all,
yeah, yeah.
and we've tried
Well,
to
I'm not all of
explore.
it, but a good
We've
chunk to
tried to
see.
we've tried to psychonaut. We've tried to
Yeah,
psychonaut. I've
yeah,
tried to psychonaut. I've
yeah.
tried to explore different realms of reality and things.
Right.
And what I found was the same pattern. It just led me back to the same place, which is here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say that, which was the present moment. But in the sober state that I've been for many years, what I've really found through meditation and deep intellect and study and living my life through my desires, the most important part, following what I want in life, not just escaping it through
All the things
trend.
they can be
Yeah.
escaped. Yeah.
What I've really found is this place where the present moment, what it really does, it really shows you the world. And what I've really found is, going back to your question about demons, is that what I really feel is we are the demons.
Okay.
We are the demons.
I ascribe to that. Yeah.
There's no such thing as demons that we have not created through mind.
Ooh.
And demons that we believe exist that are attacking us are us. It's us.
Right. I can see that. I can ascribe to that on a larger meta scale. Like there's people in the past that have gone through processes that give them
No,
these abilities that allow them to
no,
influence us from another dimension. I can see. When you and I with students of law of one. I don't know how much you believe or how it fits in your system completely, but like there are entities that have through the billions of years of existence and possibly trillions. We have no idea how long this has been going on for. Have achieved some expertise in the skill of being an organism in this plane of existence, and have gained abilities to influence other people. It's just, we can see what we could do on the material plane. Well, that can go up to spiritual planes as well. So I do believe these entities exist. I do believe there are beings like we are right now at one point in time, that have gone through through that path. And there's, I believe there's two paths, at least two paths really, the moralistic paths, like going with the will of how, like a progenitor type of mentality, like law of one creator, like we're all here together, we're all trying to get an experience here to like test our souls and see which way we want to proceed in life. And through this journey, this whole progression journey. So you got the two paths. You have the left-hand path, the right-hand path, and left-hand path is what causes all these issues that we're dealing with in the world. Is like going against everything that maybe God, if there's a thing like that has designed or has a particular plan and wants us to go down this plan, and we're given free will, we can go off that plan. So there is a need for this in this universe. That's why this universe exists, is for this other plan to exist and us to deal with it as and choose our moral compass. So I can see that, but like there are these entities that are living in these other densities that science has not detected yet with their physical material science, that are influencing us. And that's what I consider to be the demons. Are these higher density beings who want to keep this universe contained and keep these beings enslaved inside them because they're feeding off them like parasites, basically. So they have a right to exist, and they have a right to work their way they want to, and we have a right to exist as well, and resist that if we can. So that's how I kind of see it. Like, so where does your demonology, this new thing of like demons don't exist, how does that fit into that? If it does at all, like I'm not suggesting that you subscribe to it 100%.
I mean, I would say that I completely agree with you on everything that you said. I also yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. I've studied the material that you're talking about. I do believe that we live in a multi-dimensional space. I do believe that aliens are multi-dimensional, and we are interacted by different species of entities. I do believe that there is a negative space of energy or entities, like the Orion group, that is solely focused on negative aspects of free will, trying to evolve in their own free will in a sense. If you want to talk about the universal uh, um planet of spheres and the whole shebang, I do believe that we live in a polarity which allows us to evolve, and that's why there is polarity, and there has to be yin yang, negative positive. That's the beauty of oneness. So if you can't love the negative, you can't love the positive. Anyway, yes, I do believe there is a negative source, and that comes from this Saturn dark place. Totally agree. Now, their plight on on humans and our consciousness is negative, yes. But what I would say is, I wouldn't call them demons. I would. That's not really when I use the term demon. It's not really what I would call the Orion group or that one group of negative entities that we know about that are working against our positive evolution.
So
I think there are probably, I know that there are multiple positive groups working toward evolution, so that doesn't mean that there's only one negative group working toward evolution. It's all evolution.
correct. Yes, this is all evolutionary
There's
stuff.
no de-evolution. It's all evolution.
Yeah, this is all progressing
Yeah.
towards one. Yeah.
It has to be this. Yeah. Okay. But when I talk about demons, I guess what I'm really talking about is more deep. It's about human deviancy. It's really about social deviance. When humans really are demonic, I believe that there are different levels, and I believe that the entities that are really powerful and working negative really have a hold on a subculture that definitely affects the masses, but the way that it affects the masses is 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 to create turmoil and trauma so that we act on our own, and we create our own demons, and that's what's really scary.
The thing about the creating, I think that we may we attract them. I don't know if we create them. I think we attract them. Go ahead.
I think it creates because they've learned. Like, the thing is, we only know as much as we can know in this third dimension. Like, we don't know anything more. And these other entities are coming down or from these other dimensions. They know a lot more, and they can infect certain aspects. They know how to play chess better than we'll ever know.
Yeah.
They play it.
What was the name of that psychologist? The psychologist that went into the mental institutions and started interviewing and asking the patients what the voices are saying. That guy, he woke my eyes up because the stuff he was talking about, the stuff that the patients. If he's telling the truth, but we can look him up afterwards. I'll put him in the show notes. But that guy, he actually asked what the people were. It's like, okay, there's something else going on here, and it also linked in with the law of one. Like, how does this happen? Like, there are these higher density beings who have the ability. Hold on. They have the ability to influence our thoughts and our thinking in a way when we're open to it, when we're in a suffering state. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Influence.
Well, they
Not
speak.
control.
They actually speak. They speak
Not
commands.
control. Not control.
Not control. That's
Not control. That's what we have to be very clear. You have to be very clear about this. Demons cannot control anything we do. All that they can do is influence, thought form. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that I don't believe in demons. It's that I don't believe that demons can control what we do. It's just a thought. It's thought form. It's mind. Everything is just mind. And the more that we lose touch with the presence and mind, the more that we lose control of reality.
yeah. I think when you say presence of mind, you mean the moment, like being in the present moment, being in physical reality, and knowing where we are in space. Is that what you mean by that? I think that's what you meant by that.
Absolutely. Like, for instance, somebody like let's talk about like a Buddhist monk. When you talk to a Buddhist monk, like a real deal, like Southern Taiwanese Buddhist monk, when you talk to them, it's like they're looking through you, because there's nothing. They're so present that there's nothing else. It's just now. And this happens all the time. It doesn't just happen with monks. It happens with anyone, even people that haven't meditated. Sometimes people are like, "Oh wow, this guy, what's this guy saying?" Bam, you know what I mean? When somebody is seeing, you catch it, because it's basically like, like a toddler. When they look at you, they're not looking at you. They see completely through you. They're like, ugh. You know what I mean? It's because they have no mind. They're still trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah, you're a new dad, so you're experiencing this through your son. You're a new dad. So
Yeah.
how old's your son? Like
They're
a year? About a year?
They're
A year
not
old?
clouded by all this nonsense.
Yeah.
They're phasing. They're still trying to figure out. You know what I mean? So they're just like, boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and you get this with psychopaths. You get this with everyone. It's not like some rare spiritual metaphysical thing. It always happens. Like,
it's a state of mind.
I'm saying, like, there's this stuff that always happens. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just presence. And when we don't have that presence, what is there?
Well, we get. It seems like there's
Chaos.
distraction. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man! Like, when we don't have that, guess what? It's just fucking complete nonsense, man. Everything is nonsense. I mean, come on. The world that we live in now is what? Like, man, it's just insane.
Well, yeah, the electronics.
Like, everywhere.
Yeah, the electronic
insane.
world. Mm-hmm.
Everything. So guess what? All that stuff packed. And all that stuff goes into the stuff, and then added on sleep disorders and things like that, and we create all that stuff that packs up. We create this stuff. We create aggression. We create these demons, anger. We create stuff that's not real. And when you create these things, I mean, look at this. I mean, you watch this stuff, or read. If you read this stuff, if you read these stuff about exorcisms and things like that, like these people, like, if you read the studies on demonology and like these people that were exorcised and all that stuff, if you really read into this stuff, it's like these people were traumatized, all of them traumatized, and created these demons. through these belief systems. These belief systems, very powerful demons through things that they already knew, which mostly through religion. You know, like
Yeah.
how many pagan people have you ever read about that had to have exorcism? Not many, right? Why? Because pagans they don't have deities the same. They don't worship saints. They worship things, you know, like how many times have you heard somebody exorcise a deer from someone, you know? You haven't. I mean I've done sweat lodges, and I mean shit, since I was 10 years old I've grown up with American Indians, and I've asked them so many questions about demonology and skinwalkers and stuff. Never have they said that they had to exorcise a kid from an evil entity. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
But
saying?
the like
And
but the, let me just let's give the other side of that, right? It's
call
like
that paganism.
the Native Americans also did, kill and slaughter each other pretty pretty aggressively. So it's like just because they didn't have that thing going, they had other seemingly demonic. I mean, going on and killing people, your own guy. Go ahead, go ahead.
Super hardcore. Super fucking hardcore. Nobody wants to talk about that. Super hardcore, yeah, no. But what I'm saying is the demonology, you know, like, if you really go into it, like, we got what? Skinwalkers? What, Skinwalker Ranch? That's what, Navajo? That's like one tribe, one piece of land that, no, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right, right,
what
right.
else? What
So
else have
how we
you
should
heard?
because we the reason why that's a story. Yeah, that's the other thing
What have you
too.
heard about?
It's like the
What
other
have
thing
you heard
too.
about?
Is the stuff we hear
Yeah,
about is like the stuff that's like the exception, and we think that's like, oh, that's common. It's like, no, I was like, you're hearing about it because that's the exception. Like, um,
yeah.
but
We heard about
exorcism
it,
is
but
not even unusual in the Christian, the Catholic stuff is because it's like it happens quite a bit in that particular region, but we think it's normalized as part of our culture. But other cultures, they don't have that. They have other stuff.
Christianity is, it's flooded with demonology. Flooded, like,
Yeah.
more flooded than Islam or anything.
So what are they? So what are they referring to? So what are these?
In Islam, you have jinn. You have jinn.
So what are these other? What are these things talking about when they have? Are they talking about demons? Or are they talking about these fifth dimensional, fifth density warlocks that are like doing psychic warfare? Or like what is it?
Say that again.
So with these other faiths have demons and demonologies. Like there's every culture in the world has this concept of vampires and zombies. That's universal. So there's something about this evil, an inhabited evil person or entities that have these traits. Are you saying those aren't real, or those are mythologies of things that can happen to people? Is it only people that are affected by this? I mean, are dogs and animals, like, are they affected by it? But go ahead.
No, I guess what I'm saying is that all the history that we know, there is this substance, and yes, the native Indians, from South America all the way up called it Watika. The Watika virus. The way that they describe it is that it's a virus, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that the Watika that they're talking about it's a mind virus. It's the mind. The only way that it can actually get in is through our mind. And if you really want to go deep, there's some really good, very boring anthropological studies with the Hopi Indians in northern Arizona that actually talk about, in like 1800 or so, that they actually battled against lizard beings that infected their minds and infected all the tribes around them and took them over. And the Hopi, because of their prayer, because if you understand the Hopi Indians, they're all about prayer. They're all about they're basically, I would say, I think they're probably the Western sixth density monks from southern Thailand, very similar to southern Thailand. They're kind of the thwart to holding the ground in the West. They hide in the cave. They don't hide in the caves, but they live in the caves and they pray. They literally, like, I've heard stories from Hopi women that I've known that basically said they wouldn't feed their husbands. They wouldn't give their husbands dinner until their husbands did prayer. Like, they're serious about their prayer, which is very similar to the 10 directional prayer that the southern monks in Thailand do, like Ajahn Chah's type of stuff. And back to my point is there's very good anthropological documentation in the library in Arizona that you can find that in northern Arizona, these Hopi Indians were doing ritual and prayer like most natives at the time, and also being hardcore, everything. And they were calling in a lot of stuff, man. They were doing crazy stuff. Lots of big animal death ritual and stuff. And they called in some crazy stuff. And I think that was negative entities. I think that was a Ryan group. And they came in to try to get in, and the way that they came was exactly what we're talking about. And the Hopi were just too sound. And they literally, there's documentation, they said, they came, attacked us, and we had to fight them with our mind. And we fought them with prayer. And they prayed and fought them off. And that's where that whole thing, if you go to what's that place, I forget, the spiritual hub.
Well, we can put it in the show notes. It'll come to you in a minute, and we'll put it in the show notes. But whatever. What do you?
That's where the hue sound comes from.
The what sound? Oh, the hue.
Have you heard that?
Yes.
You like that thing where they say, like, when you're in psychic attack, you say hue, the hue. That comes from the Hopi. The Hopi are the ones that said they created that because the reptile lizard people were attacking them, and they were all hewing them away. Hue. They were doing this weird hue stuff.
So what aspect of demonology do you believe that that's not real?
No, because what I'm saying...
Because you're like, I don't get it.
is that I don't believe that... I didn't disagree with you. I believe that there is an Orion group, but I don't call them demons. I call them what they are. They are their group. They are those people.
Right, but there is a group of above the Orion group that has this fifth density warlock, whatever, psychic people, psychic entities who are all over the universe. But there's a group that's helping the Orion group that happen to be involved deeply with what's going on here. They're getting assistance from one group of fifth density. So what are you? So like, that's all bringing these attacks down these different various vectors of these human groups who are here from traumatized as hell from this kind of stuff going on all over the galaxy, and some of us engaging in it, and not the best ways possible. And we're here to deal with that right now, and that's what I believe is happening at this end of the cycle here
I
is
guess what
coming
I'm
through. So like,
saying,
what are
I
you?
guess
So
what I'm
we're.
saying,
I feel like this is very like ten. It's like very ten. Like I can palpable as a feeling. This stuff is palpable to me. It's like so when you said this stuff, I was like, what are you talking about? You've dealt with it too, like a lot. Like, go ahead.
okay, so let me explain. Because I think what I'm about to explain is much more scary.
I'm scared
And
already,
this,
dude. I don't think you put any much scared. I was like, this
here's
stuff
the
is
thing, and this
crazy.
is why, no, what I'm about to explain is much more scary than what we just talked about. I totally agree with you. I've agreed with you the whole time.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not that I don't believe in demons. Like, because what you're saying is that, from what I understand, let's put it that way. From what I understand, you believe that this Orion group or these other entities are demons affecting your mind, right?
Okay, the fifth density ones, those fifth density singular in a cave somewhere in outer space, like projecting their will in, like however the hell they do that to this group of Orion groups who are giving them help. The way that psychologist talked about, like these demons will give you help. They're shitheads. Most of them are really low quality
Yes,
trash, but
Montgomery.
like there is an elite in that group. Go ahead.
I think it's Jeff Montgomery.
Jeff, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that gave
I
me
think
the insights, like, oh shit, these people.
amazing. That guy's amazing.
No, it's incredible information. So, and he's not bullshitting, and he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't even. I don't think he even knows about the stuff we're talking about. Go ahead.
No, he doesn't. He's just he does, but he's locked in.
Right, he's in this other.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. No, that's I totally agree with you, but what I'm trying to say, in agreement with you, is that yes, these things exist, but I don't think that they're the demons. What I'm saying is this dimension that we live in is based on mind, and that we're trapped in this matrix. The matrix that we're trapped in is not, it's mind. It's not our mind. It's mind. It's thought form. It's collective consciousness, right? Collective consciousness, which is always being created by all of us and ourselves all the time. What I'm saying is, the things that you call demons, I don't call demons. I think that they're higher intelligent beings that know our mind.
Yeah, they live outside of time and they know us very well. And
listen,
they go ahead.
Listen. And what they can do, what they've figured out is how to inflict certain things so that we, because we live in a free will state, and all they can do is catch us at the right time.
Right.
Yes. Listen, this is the most diabolical shit and very scary.
Okay, I'm ready.
What they've figured out how to do is to create trauma so that we create more trauma in our mind all the time, which creates what we call demons that makes us, influence us to act on those actions. So to say that something is just going to come and inflict some shit on me and make me do something goes against the law of free will. So everything that you've said, demons, that counteracts it.
No. These are free will agents, right? That's the other thing too. Is I want to make that clear. Is I do not believe that they're.
The scary part is that they know how to come and play with our head and play with this mind stuff based on everything that you think that you know. Everything that you think that you know. All your shame, all your everything, all your bad actions, all your shame, all your stuff.
Yeah.
They know all that.
Yeah.
And what they can do is come in and kind of touch the vibration of energy, because they're like I think that people think that these people are really lizards. They think that they're lizard people. And I think that on some planet they are, but when they come here, guess what they are?
They're humans. They're humans. They're humans.
No, they're not.
Well, they look like humans.
Vibration. They're literally. No, when they come here, they're coming from this place, and they're literally vibration. They know how to touch frequency. It's all frequency.
Let me try to translate for you. Let me see if I got it right. Let me translate and see if I got it right. Because you're good at using this new age terminology, and it's like sometimes I understand and sometimes I don't. So when they say touch frequency, do you mean like they can have found the ability to emit thought forms into our space, into our mind, that give us that will touch on these things that we feel guilty about, that we feel shame about, and will show it to us, magnify it beyond anybody else gives a shit about, but makes it seem like everybody around us this is now a survival issue, because it's been exploded all the way around now. And then they give you a false solution, right? That's the other thing they do, is these entities will give you a false solution. A lot of times they'll give you a right solution to do the wrong, to get out of some kind of danger, but then they'll eventually give you solutions that are like get you fucked up. They make you say, like, no, you go do this now. It's like, remember all these things I told you? Well, now you're gonna go do this, and they'll like put you off in this other direction. So when I hear that, like when you say these emotional frequencies, like when you talk about that, it's like they're giving us ideas that have this certain frequency of like, I want to get back at someone, or I don't want to feel shame, or make this somebody else's problem. That type of thing. Is that what you're talking about? Go ahead.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. 100%. And then that develops, and it develops. And guess what? What do we call that? Loosh
farming, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Loosh farm.
Yeah, and it keeps us stuck in the material realm, and without the awareness that there's this other thing going on while we're here. Go ahead.
That's why these people, they're like these psychonauts, and they're like, oh man, I smoked this DMT and I see all these tentacles going down. What do you think those tentacles are?
That's the loosh. That's the loosh. That's the loosh hooks down your throat.
But it's not just this. It's not even just that. It's their perspective. Man, it's not even that. It's way more scary. It's way more scary. It's way more scary. It's way more scary. It's way more creepy.
How? In what way, Hunter? In what way? Tell me, what are you thinking? When you're thinking of that way, like, what are you thinking when you're thinking? What are you imagining? Explain it.
Like, all this violence, all this deviancy, we're the ones creating it. Not them. They're watching it like, hee. Oh, yeah. Great. Like, they know. They know our mind better than we know our mind. They know that we're going to fuck up. They know that we're going to fuck it up. They know what we're going to do to each other. And all they're doing is throwing a little gas on the fire. A little bit. Because they love watching it. It's like, oh yeah.
Well, they feed on it. which I don't fully understand
That's
how they
right.
feed on it, but
It's
they
like,
definitely feed
oh,
on it.
it's negative entities. Why don't they just come and just destroy everything?
No,
It's
they
like,
are.
you
They're
know
doing
what
it.
I'm
They're
saying?
doing it already.
They wanna throw gas
Is it
and
kind of like
just
that? Remember that comedy show that had these people in this room? They had three comedians. They
it's
all had a
not
mic. Said,
no,
"Make them
it's
do
not
this,
like
make them do that." Is that little
no.
thing, or go ahead?
But people don't understand. It's like people are like, "Oh my God, it's such a horrible world. Like we just keep killing each other." What nobody wants to talk about is, hey man, like you don't understand. Like the real world is like in New York City, like people are putting their babies in microwaves. You really want to talk about demons? Like really? You really want to talk about this stuff? You really want to talk about talk to a police officer in Detroit. Talk about what he sees. You know
Oof.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
These people, defund the cops, defund this. You know, really? You know what these people deal with? You really want to talk about You really want to know about humanity? No. People talk about demons and all that shit, you know what I mean? And we've been through these spiritual groups and they're like, oh my God, I think I'm getting spiritually attacked. Oh, Jesus Christ, I gotta get in the bath. It's like, go get in the fucking bath. It's probably because two guys fucked you yesterday. Like, fuck off. Like, you know what psychic attack is? It's when you accidentally smoked fucking PCP and you just cut your fucking kid's head off. That's reality. Do you think a demon did that? Do you think, oh my God, I was demonically, you know what I mean? You think I was demonically?
It's a. I mean, it's partially. I mean, there's a lot of decisions that went down that route that got you there, to make that kind of thing happen.
Exactly, but you know what I'm saying? It's the perception and what people are talking about with demons is, man, it goes way deeper than people understand.
Yeah.
Way, way, way deeper.
Yeah, I mean the stuff you hear on the news is only like it's so tame compared to like what
when people talk about demons and demonology, they think Hollywood. They really don't.
Yeah, I'm not talking Hollywood. That's not how I see any of this crap at all.
No, I know you're not.
No.
I know that you're not. But what I'm saying is,
right.
like, the truth. When you really want to get into this stuff, it's, man, the only way that demons are created through the mind, and man,
it's humans doing the deeds. It's not the demons aren't doing the deeds. The humans have to do the deeds.
Humans, man. Humans. Demons are created through the humans.
Wow.
Very rarely.
I guess that's the terminology. We need some new words to describe.
Very rare will you have an occult situation where some person in poverty will do something horrific and then proclaim a very ancient demon name that they would have never known. You know what I'm saying? They would have, very rare.
Right.
Like maybe once in 500 years. Man.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, if you want to talk demons, we're talking. Come on, man. Yeah. When you're in the presence of a real demon, you're gonna be like probably throwing up and not really able to handle that energy because you're gonna be sick. I mean, it's gonna be intense, man. You're gonna be shit. But there are situations that you're gonna be in that are the same, but mostly are gonna be from human fucking nature, man. And that's what's more scary than a demon.
Yeah.
It's because we're creating those demons. And that's what I'm saying. It's not that I don't believe in demons. It's that people are too naive and they're trying to avoid the reality of human nature, is my point. Like, it's not that I don't believe in demons. It's that you're don't avoid our human nature, man.
So the
We're
issue you have with it is
genuinely
it deflects.
infected.
It deflects the responsibility away from the agent, the actual agent.
Yeah, it's deflecting against your mind and your emotions, and even psychic attack from other things.
Yeah.
Like they've already thrown their web. They're letting us. They know what we're gonna do. That's what's scary.
All right.
That's what's scary.
So I wanna. I've only. I said I wanted you to
That's
have you
what's
on for.
scary. That's what's scary is that it's not. They're not like we're not in their puppet web. They're letting us be our own puppet web, and we're killing ourselves. We're killing ourselves with our emotional unintelligence. We're just being stupid as fuck. And we're killing each other. And we're creating our own demons, and it's creating this disgusting collective consciousness, man. It's getting worse and worse and worse because people are not able to find a conversation with each other. Like, we just want to negate everything. And that creates what? It creates demons. Like,
Yeah.
any hatred that you hold, guess what? That's gonna create. Oh man, that's gonna create demons. If you talk this, I mean, what's his name? Jeff Fitzgerald, I think.
I think that's his name. I'll
Fitzgerald.
search it after this.
No, he talks about it like this. A lot of these prisoners that he was talking to, like he talks like these murderers that are in prison for life or on death row, like they were talking about like they were like super hardcore abused, and then there was many of them that actually like while they were children and they were getting like super hardcore physically abused, they created these while they were getting like beat or raped. They created these fantasies of monsters, right, that would protect them, right? And then it was like, oh, like this.
I would
I mean,
say
like,
that they're making connections to those entities. I wouldn't say they're
no,
creating them.
listen.
I'd say they're creating the
And guess what?
avenues that allowed that to happen to connect to these
No,
beings. Go
and
ahead.
then those monsters, and then when they grew up, those monsters turned on society, and but the monsters were so manipulative and so powerful that they were telling these people like how to get away with crimes,
Yeah.
and like to the point that they were like, hey, like go around this corner.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
No, that was
go
common.
around this corner. You know what I mean? But these were these monsters that these people created to protect them. Like, society didn't do this. A person did this to this guy, and they created this, what you would say, a demon, and then that demon, it eventually hurt people and mind.
Right. That prisoner was the agent of these demons, but I believe that these things, whatever you want to call them, these higher density beings that have some sort of will that really want to connect with physical beings for some reason. There seems to be some sort of energy interchange that happens with them that keeps them going. So they're all engaging with this stuff, but I don't believe that they're creating. I believe they're creating the connection. I believe they're creating the opening. I believe that if you're put under so much trauma, this is what the secret societies have also done. This trauma-based mind control shit. Well, they'll traumatize them when they're very young. Like, this is very sad what these people do, and then through that they'll fracture the brain. Each one of these fractures in the mind will inhabit a different personality that can actually connect to these things in a very scientific way, which is then that gives them like psychic insights to the future and plans, and which is all extremely materialistic and very. I fucking hate Game of Thrones. I've never seen an episode, but it seems like that kind of shit is just backbiting, fighting, just like the Orion group that's just like constantly fighting each other, looking for the be on top.
I mean,
Go ahead.
That was the stuff that Crowley. That's a crowd. I mean, the whole, in the '60s when the whole Crowley movement, like, and when the elites took over that shit, and you know, that stuff comes from. I don't know where that stuff comes from, man. I mean, I kind of tried to go deep into it, but it was just too. I mean, it
Middle
kind of messed
East,
my head.
Middle East somewhere. It's like unclear. But these kids
No,
can be
no.
invented as
What
well.
I'm
These
saying
these
about
these
no,
entities will teach you
no.
how to deal with them. They will
About the
teach you.
splitting. No, no. What I'm saying is the what you were talking about, the splitting. It's a Crowley thing. Like there was this thing that Crowley introduced, and it was basically like if you take a child and you rape, you sodomize them, and when you sodomize them, you do this ritual, it actually like illuminates them, and that's where actually
The
there's a
connections to
lot
these
of
fucking
stuff
demons.
called about this Illuminati illumination, this
Yeah, their illumination is
sodomizing
not exactly what we
women.
consider
Yeah,
illumination. Like, dude, it's that
yeah,
dark
it would
illumination from
be
these entities that will give.
disgusting, but it takes me back to my point is that the trauma that induces creates what?
A mind state that wants you to get revenge or
It
get
does
control or
it
get somehow get a handle on this. So,
it creates
good.
no, it creates repression. It creates splitting.
Yeah.
In psychology, it's called splitting. I hate that fucking word. I mean, I fucking can't stand fucking Western psychology, but in psychology, they call it splitting.
Right.
But
It's
I
just
call it
let's.
aversion. I call it repression or aversion. I like the term repression because it represses. What it does is it creates shame, which shame is so dense, and that shame creates this like aversion to let that steep and let the mind, subconscious mind, stir and create anger and demons. That's what I'm saying. Like that's
I think we're
demons.
talking
That's
about
where
the same thing, but we're just using a little bit different terminology. I think we're.
definitely
But
yes.
I agree. This is all internal self will controlled stuff. Like if you're not
Yeah,
aware these things are happening and that you do have
yeah.
control over them, you do have you can say no.
Complete
I
control.
mean but that's the thing is like we're in a like Western society is designed to take away that will to take just completely crush it. 12 years of
Yeah.
indoctrination at that government institution that kills will. What do you know after you come out? Like not much other than listen to the teacher. Like
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I totally agree with you. Yes. It's like somebody saying like, "Oh man, like I think there's a demon in my house." What? Where?
You.
What?
You right
Really?
now.
Why? Maybe it's fucking you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
no, there's no demon in your fucking house. It's in your head. You know what I'm saying? Like it's everything in your head. You're creating this reality. Like, come
Well,
on,
you're
man.
allowing to connect with certain things. That's how I'd say it. It's like
There's
you're.
definitely this.
Okay. I had a little technical glitch there, huh? What was all that about? So I don't know if you saw that Hunter's like looks at his screen, goes, huh? And then all of a sudden clicks off. And it's been about, I don't know, 25 minutes or so. And Hunter, what happened?
Demons, man.
Demons? I thought you said they're not real. No, no, like, so what happened on your end? Like,
Oh man, my computer shut down.
so it just went blank? Because did it do anything before it went off? Or just, because I saw you looking at it and going like, what? And then all of a sudden it went off. Well, that's odd.
Yeah. Fuck.
Well, I would like to kind of leave it on a positive note if we could. I don't know. I don't like to do the doom or gloomer too much. I mean, we both know that there's events unfolding that are gonna maybe make some of this stuff moot, but we are still involved in the process, I believe, intimately. But go ahead, give me your like. What can we do about this demon issue?
100%. That's 100%. And what's really great about the talk is that I've completely agreed with you 100% the whole time. It's just my understanding, my perception of what we perceive as demons is a bit more complex than we're actually giving it. I think that if people had the same perspective as you, Chris, the world wouldn't be as scary, actually. I think the perspective that I'm coming from is much more horrifying. It is absolutely horrifying. Like, there have been many famous Western psychologists that have in the field of psychology, people don't like to say this, but have lost their minds based on the ideas that I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
Carl Jung,
Nietzsche. Yeah.
Nietzsche. They both they weren't sound mind at the end. In their best writing, were not of sound mind, because they kind of figured out that the of course they didn't have the spiritual intellection of philosophy and ontology that Alice Bailey or Steiner had, which very hindered them from their work, I feel. But they're scientists. They weren't philosophers. They're scientists, and they eventually it created madness in their own heads. That's demonology. They knew what society was doing to themselves. I know that there are entities outside of us that are affecting us in negative aspects, but when it comes to the demons in the West that people talk about, I am 100% sure that we create them as a society, and those mind thoughts, those mind interpretations that are inflicted on certain people and all of us all the time, create these entities within ourselves that affect each other all the time. I mean, tell me, like, when you go get coffee in America somewhere, and tell me that when it's taking too long to get your coffee and somebody's staring at your back, that doesn't affect you. Like, these things all have interpretations on some sort of energetic interpretations, and those things create avalanches. It's like a snowball. And I think that what I'm trying to say is those snowballs, those negative thoughts create demons. And that's what I think demonology is based on. It's not actual entities. Of course, there is an occult science to ritual magic, but that's something else that is very rare and very untouched unless somebody's seeking it. Mostly what social deviance is touching on is extremely demonic. Extremely demonic. But the power that child has to create a monster, a very disgusting, deviant monster, is incredible. And that is the demons that I'm talking about.
Okay.
And that's what society does not understand. And that's what we need to actually talk about and get away from this Western occult type of religious demonology, and get back to the folk tales and get back to the real stories in order to teach people that like thoughts thoughts imprint reality, and it's really important that we teach more love and not try to inflict hate or anything. Like, take control of your mind. Like,
I think
what's the
you
point?
know, with the way you and I were brought up, because we have the same age father. We were actually expected to endure a lot more hardship. And I think going through that, we learned to control our will a little bit more than average, because our father's like, no, no, you're doing this. This is how you're doing it. Like, there's no excuses here. Like, we're not, this wasn't up for a discussion. It was sort of that level of thing. And I think a lot of children have been coddled because that was definitely a different parenting style back then. And I think the kids of the day today, first, like, that was a big softness wave that came through with the stuff you're talking about, love and the care and stuff. That stuff's great. But as men, we do have to have this, like, willingness to put up with bullshit that will challenge us, not just like mentally, it's like spiritually. It's like, okay, who, like, when a divorce happens, do you go after your wife, or do you let her have the house and let it go? And like, okay, I love these people, and they I hear they gotta take care, it's yours. So that level of thing, it's like, that's a major sacrifice for a lot of men. Some people can do it and some people can't, um or not okay with it. Like, it was, okay, that's just how it is. Do we take this, do we sacrifice?
I
So
think
willingness to engage negative repercussions on your own life, it definitely, I believe, is a way to stave away some of that demon detachment stuff. I'm not going to call it demon creation. I think what you're referring to is like how children will create these monsters to protect themselves. I believe this is like evolutionary. This is the evolutionary survival mechanism. Given the child is being in those circumstances, they're living in a world that is about that. Yeah, you better fight, motherfucker, and you better fight everybody, no
well,
matter what.
yeah,
Like, you just do
that's
what I
actually
say, or
very
you're done. Go ahead.
yeah. I mean that actually that comes from psychological studies that I've actually read. That comes from a lot of psychological studies that I've read, like case studies that I've read, like very from trauma. Very, that's a very common pattern. And it's a common pattern with any type of abuse, any, like, especially women and children, like even adult women create the same type of thing. And it's in psychology, that's what I told you before, they call it splitting, but I hate that word. I like to say repression, because it represses it doesn't it can split the personality. Of course, what they're saying is it splits the personality. It puts you in this one phase where you're a protector, and this other phase where you're the victim, and then you kind of play that out the rest of your life where you're like this thing, right? But what I prefer to say is repression. That it because what I've learned as an adult, not I'm not a psychologist, but what I've learned as an adult is, like, for the most part, in the West, people repress. They just pack it. They just put down their emotions, and they create not just two, but many,
Yeah, we're trained.
based
We're,
on
we're, we're trained for that.
based
That
on
that 12
yeah,
years,
yeah,
that 12 years of indoctrination trains us for that. Go ahead.
you can call it splitting, but I like to call it repression. You repress these things and you hold them down, and that these things are cancerous, man. Because it's you're putting this stuff down, and then you go into, like, this grief stages that you don't ever work through, and that creates cancer and terrible stuff. And a lot of these people, um, have gut issues, and like very bad health issues, and and also the mind states go into other places, and that's what I'm saying. They create these demons that take control of them, but it's not what I guess my whole point has been that this repression of trauma and not being able to release or heal uh, creates these mind games that become these voices or demons, which create school shootings, murder, lots of terrible stuff. And of course, 100%, do we have entities that feed on that? Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is they already know we're creating our own mess. We're creating it without them now.
Yeah, it goes on autopilot.
100%.
I can see that.
We're doing it
That was a big some of the.
they've already farmed us. They've already farmed
We
us.
are
We're
domesticated.
doing
Yeah.
we're doing it to ourselves, and that's the horrific part is we're
Okay.
doing it to ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. I
We
see
don't,
it. Yeah. That is
if you
horrific.
want to say that what is Nicholas Cruz killed fucking 15 kids because he was attacked by these fifth dimensional entities, man, no. He was a very lost child that man, that kid fucking created demons within himself. 100%. 100%. Did negative entities have a grasp on him? Of course they did, because he was doing the job. But did they create that? No, man. That kid created all that.
I would say it was
All of it.
co-created. I think it was helped and
All
assisted, but
that.
he was also a
All
willing
that.
participant because he
No,
wanted to get revenge
but
as
that's the
well. Like,
thing that nobody wants to talk about. We all co-created that.
yes.
We all co-created that.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
all
That's for
created that.
sure.
We all co-created that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Ultimately, yes.
All these people that go on their phone and look at cop shootings all day on YouTube on their phone and watch violence. You're helping to create more violence in the world. You know what I mean? Like all these people, oh my God, like like I remember when we met 20 years ago. Like remember, like I loved horror movies, and I was watching all these horror movies and stuff. Like no, man, like I don't do any of that stuff anymore because I don't want to put my mind. I don't want my mind to have anything to do with all that negative stuff. Like we all are a part of this collective thing, and the more negative bullshit, and it doesn't matter. Like I don't want to watch Hollywood violence. That stuff put it. Man, come on, man. Like we have to wake up at some point.
Yeah. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah.
I cut all that stuff out a long time ago. But I guess like on the positive note, I guess the thing is, if you do have control of your mind still and can hear this message and went to the end of this damn talk, um, yeah, the key is to maintain connection to the reality, especially as this ramps up and we have an AI, which I believe is already taken over a lot of this stuff. Knows all of our triggers individually.
Yeah.
That's great. It's just great. So we have this electronic thing coming through that knows us and this spiritual level. So maintaining connection to reality, like Aaron Clary talks about, it says, sanity is the future of wealth. I believe that, like try and reduce your material needs as much as possible and try and stay in this zone where you're staying sane. I think and staying in control of your mind and not trying to look for revenge because it's very popular right now. Like revenge is on the mind of many people, and
Yeah.
there are times in history when this
That
happens, and
issue.
it's like super dangerous if everyone's thinking about revenge. Yeah.
I mean, you say revenge, but the thing I've noticed lately here, I mean, of course, I'm in I'm in Indonesia.
I'm in Mexico, so I'm just looking at the media, what's coming through second hand.
What I've noticed lately in the last 6 months is that everybody's really focused on what I'm trying to do monetarily. Like,
The
I really
economics.
have not, I really haven't been able to connect with anyone here because it seems like everyone I try to connect with, they're really trying to figure out what I'm doing to make money, and they don't really want to know anything about me. It's like you say revenge stuff, and I totally get that. But here, lately, it's everybody's super. Uh, they're like trying to figure me out. Like, oh, what's this guy? What's like?
Do
What are you
you
doing? What's your project? What are you doing
do you
here? Blah blah
consider them
blah.
like trying to be rent seeking, trying to find a way to like getting something going where they don't have to work and don't do anything and just relax? Is that kind of the nature? Like, are they looking for you as like maybe to get money out of you, or like what are they? What?
Competition. Everyone's so competitive.
So that means the economic conditions are harsh, and they're looking. So are these people looking to seek rent, or are they looking to start businesses, or what? What is the?
Uh,
You know what I'm talking about, the rent seeking class. I just want to like buy a bunch of properties and
yeah.
then just live off of that. Like that was a thing 3 years ago. I'm not sure if it's the thing now,
People are
but
so competitive here. They're really concerned about what I'm doing and how I'm gonna make money and if it's gonna affect them, and it's been bad.
so they're
But
trying to
I
detect
haven't
for competition
I
as
haven't
opposed to.
made I haven't made any friends in the last 6 months, and
That's
I have a
crazy.
lot of friends. I have a lot of friends
Yeah, you're super
on the other
social.
island. I live on an island. I have a bunch of friends on the other island. Here, nah. What I've noticed here is mostly Europeans, and they're super competitive. Like they really want to know what I'm doing, and they're not present at all, and it's very strange, and it's kind of like jarring. It's like, hey, you guys, like, you know what I mean? And I guess my point is like, I wish people would kind of chill and kind of like try to be more present and understand that hey, like, there's other people here, and we're not all trying to like be competitive and make more money than you and like chill
You
out.
know what's
Like
funny,
we're all
Hunter?
entertained.
Living here in Tepots, that's kind of how it is. That's kind of how it is here. Like nobody cares what I'm doing or who I am. They
Yeah,
like,
it's different where you
yeah, it's
are.
very
I know
different, very different, very different.
I know where you're from. It's different where you are. Here, no, it's way different.
Yeah.
Way,
Well,
yeah.
I don't want to keep you up any longer. I know it's really late there, and I really appreciate this talk. And I'm gonna wrap it up on this. But is there any final thoughts you'd like to say about demons not existing?
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, man, don't create demons. Keep your mind clear.
Do you have any social media you want to share?
Social media? I don't have any social
Okay.
media.
All right. Well, maybe you'll get
I
your
don't
maybe
I don't
you'll
want those demons. I don't want those demons.
maybe you can get a YouTube channel going at some point, and we can get more of your insights, or we can have more talks here. But I really appreciate it,
Yeah,
Hunter. I'll talk to you soon, man.
cool, bro. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Later.
All right. That's the end of that.